You're afraid, hide, run away. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl Anastassja.Mariah, and we are back with another video. So in today's video, you guys are getting me barefaced, missing one nail. Don't take that personal. I'm not a makeup artist. A lot of people mistake me for a MUA, and I'm not. But I do have a lot of people, friends, associates, family members who have wanted to know like certain techniques or how do I do certain things to make myself look how I look in that moment where they're seeing me. So I wanted to do a video today to show you guys how to highlight and contour, but it's going to be like in layman's terms. So that basically means I'm not going to be using all of the like beauty makeup artist lingo. You know, I'm going to explain it the best way I know how, or the best way for a viewer who wants to dab into makeup, but they're kind of like, you know, a little raw with it. They don't know all that lingo. They just want to know the basic, what do I need, why am I doing this, and how do I do this. So stay tuned if you're interested in that kind of content, because we're gonna go ahead and get through it, girl. And it's not gonna be a long video, so keep on watching. Okay, so when it comes to highlight, contour, for me, in layman's terms, contouring, you're definitely gonna want to bring shadow, definition, chiseling out those portions of your body, or your face, excuse me, because you could do it on your body too, but on your face that you're wanting to make smaller or make more defined. Okay, when it comes to contour, you want to make it more defined, more chiseled, make things smaller. When it comes to highlighting, on the other hand, you're wanting the highlight to be more in the center of the face, and when you highlight things with a brighter color, what you're doing is bringing those things forward. So if you think about back in the day when we looked at like those kind of cartoon drawings that you kind of get when you go to like a fair and stuff, and they make the heads look real big and the cheeks looks really plump and the Bratz doll's lips look so plump, but when you see the actual drawing, there's certain parts that, like even right here, this shine, we're emphasizing where the light hits. Okay, so they would draw this, and as you see, if we were to explain it in a color, the color is light, right? Because we're gonna be emphasizing where the light would bounce off of it naturally on our face, which is why we choose from a more skin tone concealer to a very, very bright concealer, even white. There's a gnat on my softbox. Like, I need you to get your motherfucking ass. We're gonna go ahead and hop into it. But before you get into highlight and contour, right, you always have to have an even, flat base. This is not about foundation today, but it is very important when you're doing highlight and contour. I have one of my favorite foundations that I'm gonna be using, and a primer. Primer is really important, but that's another video for a different day. So for my foundation today, to give me a nice, even, flat base, I'm actually gonna be going into the Lancome Tint Idol Ultra Wear Foundation. Yes, boom, boom. I'm in the color 550 Suede C, Suede Cool. And then for primer, I'm going to use the Anastassja.Mariah Hygiene Skin Glass. So I'm going to go ahead and do my base off of camera, and then we'll get back to the highlight and contour. All right, we have our foundation on, and I really love this foundation. I believe Lancome came out with the new hydrating, the glow version of this, but I love this one. Like, if you use a really good primer that gives you a glow, like, look at that. Look, stop playing with me. Okay, for the purposes of this video, we're going to start with highlighting first. For me, I like to contour first, but if you're a beginner, I do recommend for you to start with like highlighting first so that you can ease your way into the contour without making it too muddy, because a lot of times if you go in with too much contour first, it's very hard to clean it up with the concealer, because your concealer technically is just going to be in that stationary place. But you learn as you go, and you know your technique and with blending and all of that. For my concealer today, I'm actually going to go in with the Milk Makeup Future Fluid All Over Creamy Concealer. And like I said, with your highlighter, you want to bring things forward, bring things to the attention, and you really want that highlight to be more so in the center of your face, which is why you see a lot of people do the middle of their forehead, down the bridge of their nose. Sometimes I do it over on, what are these even called? The sides of your nostril. Some people put it over their lips. Sometimes I do if I have a mustache, and your chin, and of course your inner eye. Now, the thing about when you see people do it at the corner, the outside corner, the reason why they do that is it's literally what you're seeing right now. When you turn, because I have a light here and I have a light here. When I turn this way, you see how the light is bright right here. Technically, that's why people are putting the concealer there, to give that same effect, so that when you put the highlighter on or concealer on, I want to say concealer because I feel like highlighter is going to confuse someone who could be watching this. When you put the concealer on in this area, it's mimicking that same light. Same with here. I'm just going to keep it again in the center of the face just for the purposes of this video. I started doing this later on in my technique, but prior to that I was still coming out cute. Okay, for the purposes of this video, I'm just going to do a little bit in the center of my forehead. I don't like to bring mine too far up because I do have a lace wig on, and I pull my lace wig pretty far, to me, on my forehead, to where I don't have to bring it all the way up. So I'm going to bring it here because it will blend out. We're gonna go down the middle of my nose, or the bridge of your nose. To me, that makes the difference sometimes, but not all the time. And then we're gonna go in the chin. Of course, I'm gonna keep it on the inner eye only. You'll learn about precision and being like, you wanna be intentional with your placement, of course. I also recommend for you to start off with a hydrating. Even if you're oily, I'm combo, dry combo skin, but I get oily in this area. In reference to being a beginner, you get a lot more movement. You get a lot more movement when you're using a hydrating concealer. Some people you'll see let it sit for a while to get the pigmentation. For the purpose of this video, I'm gonna let it sit a moment because I need to wet my sponge, so I'll be right back. All right, so for today's video, I'm using this e.l.f. I believe this is an e.l.f. sponge. Nice and bouncy. Definitely recommend using a sponge when you're first starting out. You can move up to brushes, but you got to be very precise with brushes and make sure you're getting all those creases out, or it's gonna look cakey. So we're starting with the sponge that is very, very damp. I have a paper towel here and I push it down in there, okay? So we're just gonna blend. I like to start from my chin. You'll learn, depending on concealers you use, where you should start, because some of them dry down quicker than others. Get right up into the corner and sweep it out, but not too far, okay? Just keep it in the center portions of your face. Now, I already have some brows on from earlier, but I'm gonna go over them slightly because I typically like to do my brows after my base is done, but I ran to the store earlier, so I had to make myself look like something, child. But I'm going over them a little bit as you see me blending here. And as you see, it goes pretty far up on my forehead. So you'll see what I do for my forehead, because every face shape is different. I'm very light-handed when it comes to my nose. I try to keep that line there. If you still have your foundation brush or sponge that you use, I just go over the edges to make sure that there are no lines of demarcation. Okay, that's all. And that's all I'm doing right here. I'm not doing anything extra. You don't have to do this, but it just kind of makes sure everything is kind of blended. We're all highlighted. You can see that even though my face started off very flat, it is coming back to bring some dimension out, but it's more so just protruding out at you. You're afraid, hide, run away, do what you need to do until you bring your contour. So for contour, I have 2 contour items here. And then I also laid out some bronzer type of contours. And I know by now you guys have seen videos where people are using more warm tones. They cream contour, they call it. Cream contour with a warmer type of stick. But technically the definition of contour, it's supposed to be cool, darker, more on the gray side of things, on the ashier side of things, but not necessarily ashy. So I have 2 recommendations here that are great for starters. The first one is the Black Radiance Color Perfect foundation stick. I use the shade Chocolate Dipped, so it's a very dark stick. This is what it looks like. So that's Chocolate Dipped from Black Radiance. I also have another affordable one, which is the NYX Wonder Stick. I have mine in Deep Rich. I'm gonna swatch that here, but it comes with like a highlighter on the other side. This is Deep Rich. So as you can see, both of these shades are pretty cool toned. And then you'll also see people use more, if they don't want to do like that super chiseled look, they'll use like bronzer shade. This is the Makeup Revolution Fast Base Stick Foundation Stick. So that's a great thing to start with the foundation stick. This is an F18. Major difference because this one's a lot warmer. F18 for Makeup Revolution. Cooler contour shades right here. And then this is the Makeup Revolution foundation stick. It's a lot warmer. It can give you a lot of warmth in your face. So it's all about preference, but I say if you are using something warm, you need to call it like a cream bronze. Now this is the Black Opal True Color foundation stick. This is in the color Ebony Brown. This is it swatched right here. So as you see, contour shades, bronze shades, cool, warm. So there's a big difference, and it bothers me. I won't lie, it does bother me when I see people on their videos saying that they're going to cream contour with a bronzer shade. No, you're going to cream bronze. Bronze is more in, contour is not. I don't really know why, but I do both. I mean, you don't hear anybody talking about a contour powder these days, but honey, I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna go into the Wonder Stick, which is to me the darkest one out of them all. I'm gonna use this because I want you guys to see that you can still contour and look good. If you are a beginner, I do not recommend to go straight for the stick on your face. I recommend using like a small contour brush. You can get it from e.l.f. BH Cosmetics has some really good ones, and Morphe has some really good small little contour brushes. But anything small like this is the BH Cosmetics number 4 brush from their like black and gold collection. So I'm just gonna swipe this here over it a few times, warm it up. What you want to do is bring that shadow, because you want it to look as small as possible. So for me, I like to bring my forehead kind of, I want to make my face a little slimmer on this side, so I start really on the sides. Sometimes I'll bring it up here to make it a little, bring it down, because I have a long face. I keep going back into the stick because I get to control how much product is there, right? Now this is the part. I like my face to look slim, so I'm gonna go right here into that cavity of your, what is that called? Your temple, right? I'm brushing that right here, because a lot of people bring the concealer up, but this area ends up being, you can even kind of bring it into that area of your brow. Now, they always teach you to go like right here on your ear. Even if you think about the hollow of your jaw, that's where you'll contour. Okay, I like to scoop mine. When I smile, I like to scoop it. And then right here, because I'm suffering from a double chin right now, I like to bring some shadow kind of underneath me, because what this does, and around the chin, right? What this does is, one, it's making that cheek pop. You see? One, my cheek is popping. It's popping, boo. But don't bring it too much or you're gonna look droopy, okay? Honestly, this is a little too low, but I'm gonna show you how we fix that. So then you go around. I want my chin again to still look a little more narrow, so a little more defined. So I'm adding that shadow there. I like my jaw to look defined as well, but I don't want a crimson chin, so I don't always like make it too defined there anyway. So boom. So it looks a little, you know, like, whoa girl, you know. But what we're gonna do, you go back into your concealer sponge or brush with nothing extra on it, and you just layer over that slightly, okay? You just kind of diffusing it out. You're diffusing it out. Now, you go back into your foundation brush, right? And you go in between. Go back in between the two. If you're looking at this and you're like, girl, something still don't look right. Pretty much this area here, and a lot of people tend to do this. So what I do, sometimes you can take the doe foot, or you can put a little bit on the back of your hand. I am just gonna draw a slight line. Also on this side, I'm gonna take the foundation brush though, not the concealer sponge. That will kind of marry the two together. Keep in mind, we still only have liquids on our face, so we haven't set anything, but this is basically what I do to make myself still be able to be contoured, because this is just contour. But as long as you make sure everything is blended really, really well, when you go on with your powder products, it's gonna have this really beautiful gradients to your skin. And then people are gonna be like, oh girl, you look beat. And you are beat because you did contour and you bronzed, okay? You don't have to do, you can do one or the other. It's not like a requirement. But anytime I'm going out, which I don't right now, but I will be, I'll start to go out. When I go out to like at night to a bar or a party, or I guess a club, if I'm gonna say that too, that's when I go in with my contour. Okay, because you want that makeup to really be kicking. You want people to really see the difference. I'm just going in and I'm pushing out any creases because I'm gonna go ahead and set. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and set off of camera. I'm gonna set my whole entire face off camera, but I do want to show you one more thing when it comes to contour, because you know there's contour powders, there's bronzers, there's things like that. There's definitely a way for you to use both. So I'm gonna show you how to do that in just a moment. Let me go ahead and set my face and I'll be right back. So I'm all set. I used my Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This was like the smaller version. I've had this for so long, I'm really trying to use it up. So I use that for my highlighted areas of my face. And then for the outside portions of my face, I use the Pat McGrath setting powder, the Skin Fetish Sublime Perfecting setting powder on the remaining portions of my face. I tend to not use this as much because I thought it was too dark. And I use a nice fluffy brush for loose setting powders when I'm setting my face. And then I use a sponge for my under eye. You can use a brush, but I just feel like if you are worried about creases, you want to push the powder under your eye in those crease areas. It's important. So what I wanted to show you though, when it comes to your highlight and contour, is that you can still use a powder. I have two of the Juvia's Places bronzer palettes, right? So this one, of course, is in the shade dark. I use both of these for bronzers. They both show in my skin. But this deep dark one, I typically only use the top shade for a bronzer. The bottom shade is what I would use for a contour shade. I want to show you how you can still use a contour powder. I'm gonna grab a brush that's pretty small. This is the BH Cosmetics #2 brush. I don't know if they're all the same with each style, but this is the pink and rose gold, whatever. So I'm just gonna dab into this contour shade right here, tap my brush off, and then I'm just gonna go in the hollows and sweep up very lightly. I think the issue with contour is that people technically tend to always go, they go too heavy-handed. And we'll even take a little bit down our nose just to show you. I swiveled a Morphe M433, dipped it in there but tapped it off. Very light-handed, very light-handed. And I'm gonna show you what the difference will be when you add the bronzer to it. And I'm actually gonna go into this one because it's a lot brighter. And I'm gonna just mix these two together. Dust off, right? So it's giving more of a warm red tone, right? I know you guys know the difference between warmth and cool, but it gives a nice, I don't really put too much on my forehead, but it gives a nice gradients, brings everything together. I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my face and we'll go ahead and talk about highlighting and contour. All right guys, so I am complete. I'm not really liking this lip color. So yeah, you guys, we're all complete. And as you can see, my contour and my highlight brought my face together. In the very beginning, I was looking very flat prior to adding light to the center of my face. I know that if you're new to makeup or you're someone who doesn't really know all the terms and such, or what you need or what you're missing, as long as you have a cool shade, a warm shade, right, that both of these are darker than your skin tone, you can contour and you can bronze, okay? Cool and warm. If you want me to go in to make a video about the difference between contour and bronzer, I'll be happy to do that for you. And when it comes to concealers, you guys, for brightening purposes, definitely go 1 to 2 shades lighter than your skin tone for a start, okay, for a start, and then you can work your way up to getting brighter and brighter and brighter. But if you've watched the videos by other people, you'll know that even if they go brighter and brighter, they really keep it towards the center of the face. That's where you want to keep the area bright. You do see people bring it here, but as you can see, our highlighter is also placed there, the actual highlighter. There are a lot of people who don't use highlighter these days, and that's why they're taking that step and adding the concealer there. I'm still a highlighter girl, so I do both, just saying. But y'all know for the sake of this video, I did not add the concealer there. But around the nose, the mustache area, a lot of people will do that, and the chin, because you want these areas, the forehead, to be light. And when you turn, you have that definition. This looks very plump. This cheek look very plump, boo, okay? And then this area of my face, my chin looks a little smaller. I'm giving you face for real. So there you have it. That is how you highlight and you contour in layman's terms, from Anastassja.Mariah, a non-MUA expert, okay? Someone who's just been playing in makeup for the last 5, 6, 7 years, you know, but I'm no teacher, you know. I just wanted to help somebody out, and I think that someone would appreciate this video. So definitely give this video a thumbs up if you did get, you know, some good notes from this video. Subscribe if you have not already decided to join the family, but if you're not ready yet, that's fine. I'll still have more content, and I hope you come across it and be like, you know what, I'm finna rock with her, I'm finna rock with this girl. So it's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure chatting with you guys today and showing you a little something something, you know, in my how I speak, okay, things like that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and have a good weekend, because this video should be out on Friday. So yeah, give me a thumbs up, leave some comments below of whatever you want to see next. Tell me what you thought. What do you use for contour? What do you use for your highlight? Do you contour at all? A lot of people don't, so I'd love to hear from you. So love you, fam, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.